August 4, 2023. Ukraine war, approximately 9 years and 7 months into the invasion of Crimea. Day 527 of Special Putin's operations. Big picture. In the last week, 24 different Russian Federation draft officers have been firebombed by random civilians. Ukraine struck another Kremlin combat ship. Ukraine continues to push the south, both sides are pushing around Donetsk, and the Kremlin is pushing its mobilization offensive in Luhansk. The Kerch Strait Bridge may be under attack as we write. A quarter-year numbers recap. To restate information released in our last report, since April 3, 2023, Ukraine claims it has destroyed the following Kremlin forces and equipment. Infantry and personnel destroyed, 72,690 infantry and personnel. Tanks destroyed, 605 tanks. APCs destroyed, 1,241 APCs. Artillery guns destroyed, 2,198 artillery guns. MLRS systems destroyed, 177 MLRS systems. Fixed-wing aircraft destroyed, 9 fixed-wing aircraft. Helicopters destroyed, 18 helicopters. Transport and tanker vehicles destroyed, 1,819 transport and tanker vehicles. Special equipment destroyed, 423 pieces of special equipment destroyed. Anti-air systems destroyed, 185 anti-air systems. The 72,000 plus soldiers killed by Ukraine in the last 4 months is roughly 30% of all of the losses of the Kremlin since the February 2022 invasion. It's also almost half of the artillery system losses Moscow has experienced. Roughly 15% of the Kremlin's lost APCs have occurred in the last 23% of the time since the start of the invasion. About 24% of the vehicle losses the Kremlin has taken have been in the last 4 months. Altogether, that's easily more equipment burned than most major economies in Europe have in their entire armies. It's likely 10 to hundreds of times more than most of the Earth's nations will probably ever have at one time in the next 100 years. A population of Russians that would fill a small to medium-sized city have died in Ukraine in the last 4 months because Putin. Dnieper line. Kremlin mouthpieces are claiming Ukraine is going to make a river-crossing attack under pressure from Ukraine's new allies, however they've shown no evidence of these claims. Ukraine hasn't made any statements on the topic and hasn't made any large attacks since they took the Dachas at Antonivsky Bridge. The Kremlin has shelled a morgue in Kherson, which is a civilian structure. Moscow has likely reported to Putin that the strike proved 24 cadavers were spotted after the strike. Nobody was hurt. Ukraine hit an ammunition storage on the left bank. Zaporizhia front. No line changes in this area. Reports of a number of failures of Kremlin attacks at the Morkyoli in the last day. These small victories for Ukraine may assist in preparation for further liberation of Arkhan's lands in that area. Heavy shelling into Ukraine's support lines around the Morkyoli. East Front, Donetsk. Multiple attacks by the Kremlin. Attacks in Marinka, Pervomaisk and at the M04 highway east of Avdiivka. Ukraine may be doing some localized counterattacks around Avdiivka. Heavy shelling at Mariinka. No line changes reported. Bakhmut area. The Kremlin made a push just south of the city proper, north of Klishchivka. Corresponding heavy shelling with the attacks was reported. No reports of changes in the front location. Oskil border front. No reported movements by either side in the last 24 hours. Heavy shelling around Kupiansk for the second day. Northern border. The Kremlin has been training its helicopter pilot recruits by having them fire random unguided missiles into Sumy Oblast against civilian lands. Black Sea. A Ukrainian drone has critically damaged the Kremlin Rapucha-class Olenigorsky Gornyak in the overnight hours. As shown, it is reported that a single surface drone intercepted the ship off the coast of Crimea. Other video from hours later shows the ship listing heavily under tow, and some reports are that the ship cannot be saved and will sink. Other sources have since claimed that the image you see on your screen is that ship being held against a dock, presumably as repairs are attempted. Ukraine world-related. Navalny, a political rival of Putin's, was given 19 years in a gulag for various fabricated and inane charges. The EU is stating that they have ended reliance on Russian fuels. The Kremlin's military is claiming the industrial production of a new short-range missile using dual-band infrared seeking with a maximum best conditions 40 kilometers range. The Kremlin mouthpieces and intel services really seem to think that NATO telling them to invade Poland is some bluff. Wagner, conscripted or hired Belarusians, conscripted Russians, or whomever else shows up to test anyone in NATO in that area should be welcomed, I think. Let me give my voice. After the last year and a half, I'm eager to find out which one gets done first, the bombers that turned them into diced bird food, or my popcorn in the microwave. And one more, does the Kremlin get burned in the first day, or the first week? Remember this, we wanted peace. Germany has sent Visent mine-clearing tanks and mine plows for the T-72, and will be sending 40 IFVs more armor recovery vehicles, mobile demoning systems, reconnaissance systems, and 18,000 portable anti-tank missiles. We aim to bring more. Like and subscribe.
how I feel.